Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we are starting a multi-video series where we play Mago as the devs intended. That's right, today we beg the question, how little magic do we need to beat the game? What causes magic? It's any use of a button that makes us fire a magic projectile. Any power used in each of Mago's transformations is deemed part of that creature's ability, so we won't be counting those. As much as I'd like to clickbait the video, can you beat Mago without magic? Anyone who's touched the game sees the immediate issue. You have to use magic to finish most levels, so instead our goal will be to find the minimal amount needed. And so we enter the tutorial. Not too hard, Unskippable objects will be a huge problem for this challenge. This magic use, however, is avoidable thanks to some interesting tech. If we exit the map, the tutorial is entirely skipped, so we get through with 0 magic. Next is 1-1. In every level, we'll want to be holding run before the level begins, since the run button is also the magic button. This level is built to just let you mindlessly run through, no threats to report. In 1-2, I get to pull some semantics on you. This is about how much magic I need to use to beat the game. I don't have any input on Mago turning himself into a bird. I didn't do that. I just forced him into a situation where he needed to. That's a 0. Just as a side note, normally nosies are trapped in cages we need to break, and if we collect enough of them, we can get more health. Normally, we need to use magic to get into those cages, so we'll want to be grabbing them where we can in transformation levels. 1-3 is where the fun begins. What do you think happens when Mago gets hit? One might expect, in a left-to-right side-scroller, you always go left. Maybe you just continue on, like Mario. You see, we're up against an obstacle. What we're supposed to do is use magic on the fountain to purify the pond. But I don't want to do that. So instead, we're going to fully abuse how damage functions. When you get hit, you always move backwards from the direction you are facing on the frame you got hit. So back to our little obstacle. If we just turn around before hitting the water, we can leap onto the crate and then back out of the water before iframes run out. So long as we have 1 HP, we're still alive. Just one caveat. Checkpoints require magic to activate, so now we have an easier time getting sent all the way back to the start of the level. Speaking of, after traveling the easy top path, we reach the harder version of the same trick. Here I use a setup I found by double jumping off of the dog, and then take 2 damage boosts to make it out of the toxic water. From there, Slimo can just be jumped on. 1-4 introduces jump pads. That's it. Fun fact, World 1's boss doesn't need magic to win. Don't get used to it. As he's throwing his hat, you can just jump past it and hurt him. Alright, so now we're moving on to World 2 with 3 uses of magic. Let's set our eyes upon 2-1. Trouble appears at this purple cloud. It's intangible unless we purify it, so we can't ride it with iframes. And there's no other way to gain the required height. Unfortunately, we need a use of magic. Almost right after we have a floor of spikes, we don't have the hearts to fully cross. We can get to a close platform, but bat enemies will be chasing us and the platform makes us a sitting duck. Are we to resign ourselves to the intended method? A large amount of magic to clear the ice and bats? Counterpoint. Let's abuse game mechanics. How the game functions is that the second a bat touches Mago's hitbox, intangible or not, it will return back to its spawn. This means, as we damage boost across the spikes, we only need to ensure we hit all 3 bats on the way to the platform. We then have just enough time to use the required 2 magic presses to bring down the ice platforms. And so the next obstacle is going to be another cloud. Below it is a path that we will not be taking. However, we have no business making this jump. Gap's too wide. Except what if it's not? Our damage boost has another fun quirk. It also gives us a bit of upwards momentum. By timing it correctly, we can use the cloud as a boost to just barely make the gap. Now, very unfortunately, we will still be using magic there because the final enemy is a little too tall to jump over, and we don't have the health to do both tricks. That's 5 total in the first level. 2-2 is a transformation level. We're a penguin spitting at things. Pretty easy. My secret to dealing with mini-bosses. Walk around them. Actually, I fought this guy because you only need to jump on him. 2-3. We have a horde of birds that chase us. It's a very forgiving level, and one that doesn't really require magic. Which finally leads us to the World 2 boss. You do need to magic the purple to defeat this guy. 4 times, in fact. No cheesy way around it like World 1. We just need to make sure not to miss. He has a second phase, but that's just jumping on him. And with that, World 2 is complete, totaling 10 overall. And so overall, not bad for the first 2 worlds, given this is the mechanic Mago's built on. I have a feeling subsequent worlds will have more to talk about, so we might end up only covering World 3 next time. Regardless, I hope to see you in the next one. I have been the Archduke.